Anthology on the bad, short-lived, and forgotten shows and events in TV history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Episode 549, submission number 446, Bay City Blues. Bay City Blues aired on the NBC television network from October 25th, 1983 to July 8th, 1984 for 8 episodes.
Who's ready for some baseball, guys?
Ooh, me. Did I mention that the Yankees are 1-0?
Hey, the Guardians are 1-0. How are the Mets doing there, Greg?
I don't think he wants to talk about it.
Are you saying you're number one?
Look at it this way. The Dodgers are 2-0.
No,
How
they're
about
3 No, they're 3-0.
Oh yeah, that's right. They played yesterday, didn't they?
And they beat the Tigers.
After the 2-game Tokyo series at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, you know Dave Meltzer, he rated every Ohtani at bat like at least 4 stars.
That home run in the second game, 6 stars.
Why'd you make Dave Meltzer out to be comic book guy from this?
I was just going to say the same thing. I don't know why I made him turn out to be comic book guy, but it works.
Something, Brian Alvarez calling somebody a geek, something.
Worst impression ever.
As you can tell, we are knee deep into that great American pastime right now. Actually, we're more like we're ankle deep, because by the time this episode is released, we would have been a full week into the regular season, and the Yankees will have been 4-1.
No, I'm calling shenanigans there. They're not going to be 4-1.
Yeah, especially now that Garrett Cole's out for the year.
Hence the one.
Beyond that, who are they even playing? They're playing the Brewers. You know, the Brewers are not a bad team. And then they're playing Arizona. You know, that 4-1 might be realistic, just saying.
Thank you.
Can we just say the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2023, how the hell they win the pennant?
Well, you know, baseball is a totally different beast in October.
And it was a totally different beast in 1983, and a totally different beast when you're playing Double-A ball in the town of Bay City, California, a town that lives and dies off of baseball. Such is the topic of this Stephen Bochco and Jeffrey Lewis creation. We have a double A team with triple A dreams and major league issues. We have an owner who is unscrupulous, to say the very least. We have a manager who is very scrupulous, and a team that ranges from young hopefuls to once great players sent to the minors right before playing that one last shot. And in the first episode, we have the first instance of somebody bearing their bottom on network television.
Given who's on this series, I struggle to wonder who is the one who showed his ass.
I know what you're thinking, Greg. Not him.
Oh.
Let's talk about who makes up the lineup of the Bay City Bluebirds. We have as manager Joe Rohner, played by Michael Norrie, best known for his roles on The OC, Damages, and NCIS.
He was in Flashdance.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, let's not forget, did you go to see Flashdance with your parents?
It was at least my mom. My mom really wanted to see Flashdance. I don't know if Dad would have gone. I think I know what you're going to say. I'll just say it. My mom didn't really want me seeing Flashdance, so a lot of the time, especially in the nude scenes, she'd cover up my eyes so I couldn't see beautiful 1983 boobs. I understand she was looking out for me, I think, but you didn't have to do that, Mom. I was a growing boy. I was 8 years old. I had to learn sooner or later about the female body.
But also, Chica, let's not forget Michael Norrie was in that terrible 1990 Captain America movie.
The one with Matt Salinger as Steve Rogers?
Yeah. He's not America's ass. This is an imposter. That's not Chris Evans.
And then you have as the owner of the team and a car lot, Ray Holtz, played by Pat Corley, best known as the barkeep Phil on Murphy Brown and Chief Coroner Wally Neidorf on Hill Street Blues. There's that Bochco connection.
Yes, there's a lot of Bochco connections in this show, obviously.
And we have talked about him in the past because he was in an episode of Tequila and Benetti and JJ Starbuck. And just taking a look at his IMDb, I don't want to start a new running gag, but dang it, I think I have to do it. He was in an episode of Mr. Belvedere.
Now, hold on a second. We got to say it. Mike, can you explain the big thing I found out last week while listening to an old episode of Gilbert's pod?
Oh, I don't know how to phrase it. So you want me to describe what happened to Christopher Hewitt on the set of Mr. Belvedere, as told by Doug Benson, who witnessed it, but then somehow Adam Sandler sort of stole it over time.
Well, hold on a second. The way Doug explained it, his roommate at the time was Rob Stone, who told him the story. And then over time, he passed it to others, including Adam Sandler. So now, can you explain the story to everybody, Mike?
Well, somehow, I don't think it was ever said when this happened, what year, what season. Somehow, Mr. Belvedere sat on his balls and had to actually go to like the emergency room. They actually had to get an ambulance to take him to the hospital. But the more amazing thing is, there was an episode where they were doing some sort of Peter Pan type of sequence or episode, and I think Mr. Belvedere may have played the Peter Pan role, and I'm guessing he was in cables, sort of like Mary Martin would have been back in the day, and somehow, again, while he's being hung up on these cables, he did it again. Somehow he got his balls like caught between his legs and had to go to the hospital. And the sound, It was like, "Ugh." So apparently that's the sound Christopher Hewitt makes when he sits on his balls. Ugh.
It's like Tim Allen. No.
No, trust me, Tim Allen didn't sit on his balls when he did that.
That just sounds painful.
But I have a question. Like, how is it possible he sat on his balls?
I don't even know how to answer that. I'm actually trying to find the episode of Mr. Belvedere where they do the Peter Pan thing just to see if that's like in the trivia on IMDb. This is the episode where Christopher Hewitt injured his balls again. And then people read that like, he did it once before? Huh? I gotta find this.
But okay, that's not even getting to the best part. I'm sorry we're not talking about the rest of the Bay City Bluescast, but I gotta bring this up. I found a commercial for something called the Mr. Belvedere Fun Kit.
What's in the fun kit?
You get like trading cards, like pictures, a newsletter, and an iron-on T-shirt decal that says Mr. Belvedere Fan Club or something, and you get a special surprise on your birthday from Mr. Belvedere.
We never find out what that surprise is, do we?
Yeah, I want to know what the surprise is. Is an emergency room visit for getting your balls stuck in your crotch or something like that? One free ER visit when you smash your balls? Okay, I'm looking at IMDb. I cannot find an episode where they did Peter Pan, so now I'm beginning to question everything.
Wonder, do you think you visited Christopher Hewitt in the hospital when he sat on his balls?
When he did that, did he say, Wesley? Wesley?
Wesley?
Angela?
Hold on. Could you imagine a crossover between Who's the Boss and Mr. Belvedere? That could have happened on ABC back in the day.
Mr. Belvedere?
Mr. Belvedere, why is it that you sat on your own balls?
Okay, who would be the boss in that episode? Would it be Mona still, or would it actually be like Mr. Belvedere?
I don't know. It'd be like a Godzilla versus Kong thing.
Okay, I can't find an episode with Christopher Hewitt playing Peter Pan, but it does say that he was in Peter Pan on Broadway in 1979 and 1980. Maybe he injured it there. I don't know.
Okay, let's get back to the cast. All right, Chica, who else is in the cast?
Now we gotta talk about the pitcher, John Frenchy Knuckles, played by Perry Lang. Perry Lang.
A little edit because Chico's audio died. Perry Lang is better known nowadays as a director.
His wife, Judy Knuckles, played by Michelle Green, best known as Abby Perkins on LA Law.
Oh, LA Law, you know what that means. We can do it again.
I really didn't want to talk about it.
34 years of Diana going down the shaft. By the way, isn't it great that my audio doesn't like I'm in an echo chamber?
Well, that's the benefit of you being at home and not being on your cell phone like 1,000 miles away from home.
No, I was on an iPad here 1,000 miles away from
Oh,
home.
I thought you were on your phone. Oh my gosh. What a crappy connection.
Yeah. Well, at least the house I was in was an Airbnb. It was a nice house I was in. Now, who else we got?
Next up, in the outfield, Terry St. Marie, played by Patrick Cassidy.
Oh, is he any relation to the other Cassidys or not?
Yes, he is the son of Shirley Jones and Jack Cassidy. You know what that makes him?
That makes him Sean's brother.
And also David's half-brother.
Yes.
And Katie's niece.
Oh. Royalty.
His wife, Kathy St. Marie, played by Sharon Stone.
Oh, that's Sharon Stone. Which means, in 1992, a lot of young men that scene that they would like rewind all the time. That one part in Basic Instinct where,
You remember how we were talking about Mr. Belvedere's balls? The female version.
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
The St. Marie's and the Knuckles were roommates. They shared the same house.
oh, that's nice. Oh, wait. I forgot to mention Sharon Stone was in Police Academy 4.
With David Spade and Tony Hawk.
Yeah. That's a who or three people have never been in my kitchen.
Those are three people you wish had been in your kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have as the pitching coach, Angelo Carbone, Angie to his friends, played by Dennis Franz.
Now you see, I'm disappointed because we didn't get to see his ass.
Let's talk about who's on the bags here. We have, as Rocky Padillo, Ken Olin from 30-something.
That had a great theme song. I remember 30-something.
And he'd later be on Hill Street Blues. 29 episodes there, so one away from that 30-something number.
Mm.
And then we have as Vic Kresge, Jeff McCracken, whose credits include The Hitchhiker, St. Elsewhere, and The Torkelsons.
But better known as a producer, 63 episodes of Dinosaurs, and we love our dinosaurs around this part.
And then on third, you have Charlie Henderson, played by Larry Flash Jenkins. I believe we've talked about him before on half of the run of Finder of Lost Loves.
Oh, yes. Finder of Lost Loves.
And then on the plate, you have Lee Jacoby, played by Tony Spiridakis. Best known for such films Queen's Logic, Tinseltown, The Last Word. On the shortstop, we have DJ Cunningham, played by Michael T. Williamson, back when he was just Michael T. Williamson. Best known for his roles on 24, Boomtown, Justified, Forrest Gump, and the new WKRP in Cincinnati.
He was Bubba, right?
He was
Absolutely.
Bubba.
Yeah, absolutely he was Bubba.
Yeah.
So he was the second most important character in Forrest Gump.
No, the second most important character, I think, in Forrest Gump to me is Lieutenant Dan.
No, you're both wrong. It's Sally Field as Forrest's mom.
No, I disagree with that because Bubba, he later would have his own franchise of Bubba Gump restaurants. Did Sally Field do that? No. Did Lieutenant Dan do that? No. He made money on top of money on top of money because of that character. Well, maybe he didn't make the money, but money was generated because of his character.
Now, hold on a second. Would this be a good time to mention, speaking of Lieutenant Dan, that I randomly saw Gary Sinise as a guest star in a season 1 episode of Knots Landing I watched on Plex this week?
Since you mentioned Gary Sinise, he had an autographed card in the third series of Americana released in like 2011, and I actually, somewhere in my collection behind me, have an autographed swatch card of his numbered to 25 from that series.
Oh, nice.
And there's your Americana mention for the week. Let's go for all the Don Sports trading cards. Come on, Pokemon.
In the booth, representing KLBZ, the voice of the Bluebirds, Mitch Klein, Peter Jurassic, best known for his role on Babylon 5, among other things.
We did talk about Peter Jurassic previously because he played Sid the Snitch on Hill Street Blues and, in turn, Beverly Hills Bunts.
Then we have a character who is the mascot of the Bluebirds. He is simply credited as Bird, or the Bird, Marco Rodriguez. He was Rico on Hill Street Blues and played 2 roles on Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, hey guys, you talked about a bird?
Yes, Marco Rodriguez. He played the Bird.
Well, guys, I want to mention because you guys are talking about baseball. Uh, guys, since I'm Canadian, I'm a big Toronto Blue Jays fan. Yeah, we all know that you love like Joe Carter and all those people on the Blue Jays back then. Oh yeah, Joe Carter, man, I was a big fan of Joe Carter.
Pat Borders too, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I love the way Pat Borders would squat down and catch.
Why are you watching Pat Borders squat down? Okay, never mind that. What about like Dave Steeb?
Oh, Dave Steve, I liked him.
How about Toby Hernandez?
Yeah, sure, Toby Hernandez,
Buck Martinez.
Bug Martinez,
Ernie Witt?
Ernie Witt. I would copy Carl's Delgado stance. I love the way that he would like stand and hold the bat.
What about John Olerud?
Oh yeah, I love the fact that he wore a helmet when he played first base.
Well, not just that, but also he played for the Mets too, so there's something Greg can appreciate.
Oh yeah, he played for the Mets, Alan. I don't know if you knew that. Oh yeah, I knew that he played for the Mets. I believe he's the highest Mets leader in batting average. Wow, that'd be correct, Alan. I did not know you knew that. Well, there's a lot of things that you don't know that I know.
What about Kelly Gruber?
What about Kelly Gruber?
Well, he played for the Blue Jays. You have no feelings for Kelly Gruber?
Oh, I appreciate Kelly Gruber. I appreciate mostly every Blue Jay who ever played.
How about Fred Manrique? He played for the Blue Jays and the Expos.
Oh yeah, that's double the Canadianness.
Double the Canadianness. Are there any Blue Jays players you don't like?
I can't think of any.
How about Rob Ducey?
He just mentions the name Rob Ducey because he wanted to hear him say the word Ducey.
Yeah, that's why you probably said it, Chico.
Okay, true story. I had a Rob Ducey rookie card growing up.
Oh wait, what brand was it? Taps? Was it Danvers?
It was Tops.
Oh well, you know what? I had like a giant collection of like the 1988 Fleer set. I spent like millions of dollars trying to find the Bill Ripken fuckface card.
Oh, I was waiting to see how Alan would incorporate that card into this conversation.
First off, Alan, I have a question. Why would you spend millions of dollars to find one freaking card? Well, $1 million Canadian, that's like the equivalent of like, I don't know, like $50,000.
Oh, darn, I don't see Alan having been on an episode of Mr. Belvedere.
Aw.
What about Mr. Belvedere, guys?
He was on ABC at the same time Growing Pains was on.
Oh, I know that, but why'd you bring up Mr. Belvedere?
I thought maybe you'd know something about him. You know, maybe behind the scenes, you guys are at like the ABC commissary and maybe he accidentally injured himself.
Oh, I heard he accidentally injured himself. How'd he injure himself, guys?
Are you sitting?
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
oh, I'm sitting down, Mike.
You didn't injure yourself, though.
Why'd he injure himself?
Christopher injured himself when he sat down.
Oh, how horrible, Mike.
Well, how do you know it's horrible? Maybe he just like sprained his knee or twisted his ankle or just sat down the wrong way and injured some muscle in his backside or something. Or he could have sat on his balls.
I was just about to say, hey, Alan, I'm passing you a note there. Just read it.
Testicle torsion.
Testicle torsion? Testicular torsion. Jeez.
He got it from sitting on his balls.
We're Canadian. I can't pronounce words the way you guys do in the States. Look, he's not wrong, guys.
Testicular torsion. Oh my gosh.
It's a real thing. Look it up.
He torqued his balls too much. Oh my gosh.
Probably from looking at the person who played Sonny Hayward on this show.
No, hold on, hold on. We probably got too much torque on his balls after seeing Sharon Stone. Never mind.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Transition out of that, my friend.
I cannot. Oh,
All
okay.
right, hold on. All right, Alan, it's been fun. We can listen to you talk about Blue Jays all day, but you have to leave now. Okay? Bye.
Don't be a stranger, Alan.
Sonny Hayward, who is a on again, off again love interest to Joe Roner, played by Kelly Harmon, brother of Mark, sister of Kristen, brother-in-law to Ricky Nelson, and crazy aunt to Tracy Nelson, Matthew Nelson, and Gunnar Nelson.
Wow. And I bet no stranger to athletics, because wasn't Mark Horman a college quarterback?
At USC, yes. And wait, on top of all those relations, she was married at one point to John DeLorean.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not. She was married to John DeLorean from 1969
Nice.
to 1972.
So this was obviously before he married Christine Ferrari.
And obviously before he got the idea to make his own car out of stainless steel so he could do a bunch of hot 80s nose candy.
Hey, say what you will. That car is a lot better than that stupid Cybertruck. At least that car actually works.
And at least the DeLorean doesn't fall apart because the glue was like third grade paste or something.
Playing the old timer who just wants one more at bat, Aussie Peoples, Bernie Casey.
One thing I want to mention about Bernie Casey, one of two African Americans to play the role of Felix Leiter in a Bond movie with Jeffrey Wright, because he played Felix Leiter in Never Say Never Again. Although officially, that movie is non-canon to the Eon Bond franchise. But also, he was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
He played for the 49ers and the Rams for 7 seasons. He was a tight end.
Oh, so when he was on the Rams, when he was a tight end, did he ram it?
He rammed it.
I think that's the first time since the Super Bowl Shuffle knockoffs episode that we referenced ram it.
Aside from other supporting characters like Pepe Garcia, played by Eddie Velez, and Willie Henderson, played by Julius Carey, that's your cast. So how did the season go for the Bluebirds, though? Let's find out, shall we? The order that is on the internet varies depending on the site where you go to. Almost all of the episodes are online. Judging by what I could see, I managed to get it all in the proper order. So this may not match IMDb or TV Tango or Wikipedia, but it's a reasonable approximation. We begin, as we always do, with the pilot. Manager Joe Roner, like his players in the minor league Bay City Bluebirds, dreams of baseball's big leagues. Team owner Ray Holtz dreams of profits, and the lonely baker's wife, Sunny, dreams of Roner. In the debut episode, 2 players and their wives find that pressures on the field spill over into their domestic lives that they share under the same roof. Playing Lynn Holtz, the wife of Ray Holtz, Cherie North. And playing a player by the name of Clancy, John Carlin from Cagney and Lacey. There is one more player, Barry Tubb. He was the man who bore his ass on national television for the first time.
Oh, that's great. History was made that night. He got to show his ass to the world.
One more name, playing umpire DiGiacomo, in this episode, somebody we've mentioned quite a bit in the past, Art LaFleur. No stranger to baseball at all because he played Chick Gandil in Field of Dreams, and he was the babe in The Sandlot.
Legends never die.
Episode 2, Beautiful Peoples. On Aussie People's Appreciation Day, the slugger strikes out and later is caught stealing, and not in the way you think. Meanwhile, Roner and Jacoby rebound after losing in love. I don't have a name for this character, but Robert Davi is in this episode, best known for his roles in Die Hard and The Goonies.
And he was a Bond villain in License to Kill. He was Sanchez. And since we mentioned the Goonies, Mike, can we mention the bobblehead you have?
Hold on. Oh, it's right here. Hold on. Okay, don't want to knock over any other bobbleheads. Hey, you guys.
It's nice to have you on this show for the first time ever.
I've been on this show in the past. Why do I sound like Bizarro?
Bizarro! Make a new friend!
Hey, Bizarro!
Hey!
Oh, great. We've made a match here. We've got 2 new friends.
And also on this episode, Elizabeth Daly, aka Tommy Pickles on Rugrats, and a contestant on The Voice,
But also in Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
where she played a similar role. Rounding out the cast of guest stars, playing somebody, Leonard Stone from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. He played Sam Beauregard, Violet's daddy. Episode 3, Zircons Are Forever. Potential superstar St. Marie sides with a high-powered agent, spawning resentment in Frenchie. Roner balks at going into business with Hayward. Jacoby wants to be not only Holtz's catcher, but his son-in-law. Pitcher Mickey Wagner returns to the Bluebirds. That's that Barry Tubb guy I was talking about earlier. But his return is cut short by a tragic accident. This is the episode where Mickey Wagner's ass dies.
Oh no, it's a national tragedy, guys. His ass is dead.
I was actually sort of hoping we'd have another Mr. Belvedere situation here.
Now, hold on a second. Wouldn't it be hilarious if, like, somebody in Major League Baseball, like, had injury, had to be out for, like, a couple of weeks because they sat on their own balls? That'd be, like, the funniest injury to a player since Joel Zamaya got injured playing Guitar Hero. Or Aaron Boone getting injured playing pickup basketball, whichever works.
I would have actually gone with John Smoltz getting injured when he had ironed a shirt that he was wearing.
Wait, how does that?
He was wearing the shirt, and while he was wearing the shirt, he took the iron and was ironing the shirt while he was wearing it.
Somehow that's less embarrassing than Bobby Ojeda losing a digit while cutting his lawn.
Episode 4, I Never Swung for My Father. The father-son reunion is anything but joyous for Vic and Mo Kresge. Hayward becomes even more insistent about his business proposal and more perplexed by Roner's resistance, and Padillo, Scott, and Jacoby pay a solemn final tribute to fallen colleague Mickey Wagner.
We do have a name in this episode. No character name given, but Kenneth Kimmons is in this episode. He was Howard Burley on Coach. Georgia Engel was his wife on Coach.
And we have the return of Sheree North and Kevin McCarthy, while William Lucking plays Mo Kresge. Episode 5. I can't believe they made this joke. Rocky Four Eyes.
And this is, mind you, 2 years before Rocky 4.
Rocky tries to improve his vision in an attempt to make him a stronger hitter, but his new glasses prove to be a distraction on a pivotal postseason game. And the Bluebirds go to bat against the Queen Bees, a barnstorming female team.
We have another name in this episode, playing Lewis. Guessing based on this person's age, probably a fan of some sort. Definitely was not a ball player. But playing Lewis is Jeremy Licht. He was Mark Hogan on Valerie slash Valerie's Family slash The Hogan Family.
Episode 6. Play it again, Milt. At season's end, everyone considers their next moves. Ray commits his wife. Ozzy gets a job managing a club in St. Guadalupe, Mexico. And Milt, the organist for the Bluebirds, dies playing the organ. Playing Milt, somebody we talked about on this podcast, Woodrow Parfy, the ticket clerk on the Time Express.
Man, he died playing the organ. Now, that's a way to go out.
Episode 7. Look homeward, Hayward. The team procures a little shimmy shimmy ya before heading to Mexico while Peoples and Angie negotiate business. Heather, the daughter of Ray Holtz, volunteers to quit school to help Holtz and Jacoby. Roner works on Holtz's car lot. Terry re-aggravates his shoulder. Frenchie and Judy make a decision between careers, and Sonny proceeds with the divorce from George Hayward. And the final episode, Going, Gone. Bobby Stang is pitching the game of his life, top of the ninth, on a no-hitter.
Damn it! Why do you have to be like Michael Kay and jinx it?
When Roner pulls him, you don't pull somebody at the top of the ninth when he's in the middle of a no-hitter?
No, Mike. How could you do that? This is 1983. We don't have pitch counts.
You just can't do that, or at least you shouldn't do that.
George is murdered in San Francisco before the divorce is finalized, but not before foreclosing on Ray, putting the future of his car lot and the Bluebirds in jeopardy. Angie confronts the dealer that sold the team marijuana, and in the end, the Bluebirds lose to the Bombers 4-3, while the 3 people who bought the stuff from him sit out the series. Roner and Sonny are public about their relationship, and Frenchie gets called up to St. Louis. The guy who sold him the junk, Nick DiMaggio, played by Robert Costanzo from Total Recall.
Now, I have an issue, Chico. The Bay City Birds are an affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals in this show. Why do the St. Louis Cardinals have a minor league affiliate in the area where it has these Giants and the A's? Like, wouldn't the Giants and the A's put a kibosh on it due to, like, territorial reasons?
I would think so. But then I remember Mike and I were at a minor league game in Las Vegas where the opponents were from Oklahoma City, I believe, but they were a farm club of the Dodgers.
Yeah, but I understand that. But the A's and the Giants, that's their major league territory. I would think, like, normally, like, if a team wanted to have a minor league affiliate there, there'd be, like, territorial rights or something.
This is baseball, not pro wrestling, but I totally get where you're coming from.
I know that's the case here on Long Island because this is technically considered Mets and Yankees territory. I think they have, like, the legal right to have a minor league team in this area.
I don't know if it's necessarily territorial rights or if it's just being close to the big club. Because if you look at the Guardians, the Columbus Clippers, they're 2.5 hours away down I-71. And the Akron Rubber Ducks, they're like 40 minutes south of Cleveland. And the Lake County Captains, the single A team, the high single A team, I should say, they're literally 20 minutes away from Progressive Field. And then you've got the low A club, which is in Lynchburg, Virginia for some reason.
Hey, the Mets rookie ball team was in Kingsport, Tennessee for like 30 years.
Well, I actually sort of get that because the low A team used to be in Mahoning Valley, which is Youngstown, which is about 90 minutes southeast of Cleveland. But they're now part of the MLB draft league. So they did a little bit of maneuvering, switching around. Actually, the Mahoning Valley, that wasn't even low A. That was rookie ball. That was like after people got drafted, that was the first place they went. Then would be low A.
Yeah, it was New York Penn League. That was where the Brooklyn Cyclones were in before the whole minor league switcheroo in 2020.
Exactly.
That is the series, and I gotta ask the question: what happened?
Yeah, what did happen?
Do you want to look at the ratings or you want to look at the schedule?
Let's look at the schedule.
All right. Bay City Blues aired on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. On ABC, it went up against Heart to Heart. And this would have been the last season Heart to Heart was on ABC before it moved to NBC, I do believe. But on CBS, it aired against either a Tuesday night movie or aired against the occasional miniseries. Because I actually have 1 week here where Bay City Blues went up against the second half hour of The Gambler, The Adventure Continues, Part 2. I don't think we've ever talked about Kenny Rogers proper on the show. We talked about Kenny Rogers as done by Will Sasso, but I don't think we've ever talked about Kenny Rogers himself on this podcast. The Gambler, The Adventure Continues, Part 2.
Not true, because we mentioned Kenny Rogers sung the CBS We've Got the Touch campaign in 1985. And no joke, you know what I was listening to today? The CBS We've Got the Touch version from 1985 of Kenny Rogers.
I'm Kenny Rogers. We got the touch here at CBS.
Well, hold on a second. Is High Strung Whammy here? I need to talk to him for one second.
High strung whammy. Oh, that's Chico's whammy. Yeah, I don't know. Is he here?
He can't even speak. Okay, High Strung Whammy. I got a question. Did you get high strung because you sat on your balls?
What balls? They're still in my body, damn it!
Wait, do you even have balls? You're a cartoon character.
What do you think?
Me love baseballs.
Now, that dragon on your shirt is an insult to my honor. I demand satisfaction. High strung whammy just slapped me, y'all.
Oh, that's a shame.
While you guys deal with that, I do have ratings for a couple of weeks. For the second week of November of 1983, out of 67 shows, Bay City Blues came in at 66th, beating only a show we've talked about plenty of times, being like the suckiest show ratings-wise in 1983 and 84, First Camera. That's not good. And then I have the ratings for a week later. Out of 64 shows, Bay City Blues was 64th, the absolute lowest rated show on television, even being beat by First Camera. That is bad.
I imagine it would continue for another couple of weeks before NBC pulled them off the mound, so to speak.
Looking at ratings, comparatively speaking, Heart to Heart on that second week was 17th. And unfortunately, I don't know what movie aired on Tuesdays. There aren't a whole heck of a lot of movies here to begin with. I don't think Smokey and the Bandit 2 would have aired on Tuesday nights. That came in at 30th. But regardless, it's not good. People weren't watching it. Maybe one reason it didn't do so well is because of the show that preceded it. Maybe. In 1 week that I have here, the show that preceded it was a 2-hour A-Team episode. I don't think that's going to hurt your ratings necessarily. Especially since this is the first year of A-Team. It's a pretty big show at that point. On a week where there wasn't a 2-hour A-Team, the show that preceded it was Remington Steele. That's a pretty big drop off going from Remington Steele to Bay City Blues. And Remington Steele didn't really have much competition there. Again, movie on CBS, and then last season of Three's Company and O'Madeline on ABC.
Overall, for the entire season, out of 101 shows, it ended up placing 93rd. It got to the point where, and Mike, I think you were in one of the markets that actually did this, they aired the final 4 episodes as 2 late night movies after the news on Sunday, July 1st and July 8th. The show was never granted a proper home release, having reached a natural conclusion at the end of the run. All of the episodes, except for Zircons Are Forever, are available to stream now for free on YouTube, and the entire run did not get a proper airing until 2011, when ESPN Classic acquired the rights to the series.
This was in the era when like ESPN Classic was airing episodes of Friday Night Lights.
And Sports Challenge.
But no Boardwalk and Baseball Super Bowl sports trivia.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I believe ESPN Classic aired it in like the 2000s. So I don't remember it airing past like 2007 on ESPN Classic.
I remember it airing at some point in the 2000s, maybe not 2010, 2011. I just remember watching it one day, and there's Dan Lebitard playing for the University of Miami team.
Hey, who knows? We might talk about that.
I wonder. But also, that was also the time, 2010, 2011, that ESPN Classic aired Celebrity Bowling.
Did they ever get around to airing the Chris Knight versus Eve Plum episode?
I have no idea.
I would have actually bet on Chris Knight versus Eve Plum. Yeah, I know this took place like 30 years earlier, but I don't know who won. Mike, I was going to say, you're probably there. Man, Greg, why would he bet on a 30-year-old rerun of Celebrity Bowling?
Because he's a degenerate.
No, it's because I hate money.
And you're a gambling degenerate.
No, I don't gamble, Mike, but I would gamble if it was Chris Knight against Eve Plum.
All right, hold on. I'm going to Amazon Prime to see if it's on there.
Oh, good.
Oh, hold on a second. Season 2, Episode 9. Chris Knight and Eve Plum versus Barry Williams and Maureen McCormick. So it wasn't Chris Knight versus Eve Plum. It was Chris Knight and Eve Plum versus Barry Williams and Maureen McCormick. How does this affect your betting stance, Greg?
You know what? I feel good. I'm going to bet on Chris Knight and Eve Plum to win.
Against Barry Williams? Ooh, that's a bit of a risk there. And yes, I'm going to the episode right now because I'm going to get an answer before we get out of here.
You want to freaking skip it? You don't want to watch the entire episode. You're like, fuck this. I want to just cut.
I want closure. Closure for the listeners. Chris Knight and Eve Plum had a 140 in their match. And I think they said Barry Williams and Maureen McCormick had an 87.
Oh, see, I would have raked in the money. First off, how did they get a combined score of 87, Barry Williams and Maureen McCormick?
Given the last ball that I just saw, Maureen McCormick, she had a split. She had what looked like, I'm guessing, like a 5-7 split, 6-7 split. And she didn't hit any of the pins. She gutter balled it. So that might be part of the reason why they only got like an 87.
No.
But also, what if Barry Williams and Maureen McCormick were, say, like 54-point underdogs and they actually covered the spread? You didn't think about that now, did you? You were just going for the money line. Oh, hold on. Season 2, Episode 21. Leslie Nielsen and Jan Murray versus Dane Clark and Ernest Borgnine. I'm going to have to cue that one up a little bit later.
Hold on a second. I have something to break.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Juan Soto just hit his first home run as a Met.
The $785 million investment is finally paying off. All right, enough about celebrity bowling. Let's go back to baseball and let's get ready to call it a game and get ready to go home.
Yeah, we got to call the game on account of darkness here because the Bay City Blues, it had some major league drama, but it couldn't have that major league game to go with it. And like baseball games before it and baseball games since, I guess I should say baseball shows before it, baseball shows since, Bay City Blues was just a thing on TV.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV Podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
We are going to celebrate 550 by talking about what happened when a popular show back in the day had a dispute between their two lead actors, and the producers decided we're going to replace them with blackjack and hookers.
Was that their names, Blackjack and Hookers?
You know what? It would have been a lot more memorable than the stupid names they came up with the characters. That's going to be our 550th episode. So we hope you'll join us as we celebrate another milestone in this podcast. In our next episode of It Was a Thing on TV. Thank you for listening. And as Chico always says, please be kind to each other. And we'll see you with 550 on Monday.
Play ball!
Wow!
Hey kids, get your free Mr. Belvedere Fun Kit.
The Mr. Belvedere Fun Kit.
You get an official certificate, an ID card, postcards, an iron-on transfer, a book cover, a newsletter, even a special surprise on your birthday from Mr. Belvedere.
Oh,